So in the last video, we saw what is a class and how a class is created. If you haven't watched that video, go and watch that video. It's in the I button. And today in this video, we'll be looking at what is an object, how an object is created. We'll also create a student class which will be containing variables for storing the ID, name and gender of the student. We'll see how that object gets created and stores the value whatever we provide to it. Remember, a class contains variables and methods. In this video, we'll be just focusing on the variables. We'll just keep the date of the student in the class variable now, and we'll be looking at the methods of that student class in the later videos. A class can also contain nested classes and interfaces, which we'll be looking in future. And at the end, we'll also print the value of those objects and we'll see if the object contains the same value that we entered. So hello Ravens, this is Gritesh. You're watching Spunky Quark. Let's roll in with the intro. Let's quickly understand what is an object and then directly move to our computer screen. So as we discussed, the class is a blueprint or a prototype of an object that we already discussed in our previous video. We know that we create a design, right? We create a design so that we have all the information beforehand what we are going to need to create the object. So an object is a real representation of that class. An object is the entity which contains all the values whatever the class defines to have that object, right? If the class says that the object should have a color, that object will have a color, either it be red, blue, green, yellow, anything. So that object contains the real value which the class defines, and the object has to follow whatever the class says to have. So overall, we can say that an object is strictly following what a class is defining and having the real values contained within it. So hope you have understood what is an object. So now quickly let's roll into our computer screen so that I can show you how to create a student class and how to create the variables that the class can contain, and how we can create multiple objects of the same class and print it on the screen to verify whether the object contains the same value that we entered it. So let's move into the screen. So before starting the program, let me move to the folder where I create and store all my programs. I created this folder which is inside C drive, Java Basic Series Programs. So here is one hello.java program. Let me create another folder inside this and name it as student.java because we are going to see the example of student. Let me number it so that it remains in sequence. Now let's move to our Notepad++. So here let's start writing the program. So first we'll create a class named student. So class student. Now we'll create curly braces, which is the block of the class, right? Here we'll be having three features. First, the ID of the student, which will be a number. And in Java, when we want to create a number, we create an int variable. Int is a type of variable. We will be looking at it in the later videos. So the first variable will be int ID. The second variable will be for storing the name of the student, so it will be a string. So let's create string name. Now the next variable we'll be having is the gender of the student, which will be string again, string gender. So we have successfully created the student class. Now how can we run it? Remember, we need to have the main function inside a class which will be the starting point of any Java program. So we'll keep the class student as it is and we'll create another class so that we can create another main function inside it. It's not that we can't create the main function inside the student class, but it's always a good idea to keep the main class from the main method separate. So let's create another class inside which we'll create the main method. So create a class, and this I'll name it as student demo. We'll use this class to start the application, that is the Java program. Inside this we'll be having our main method. So you remember the syntax of main method, that is how it is written. It's written public static void main. Inside the parenthesis there will be an argument of string array which is generally named as args, and then the block of the main method starts. And you might be thinking why I'm giving these spaces in between, right? So these are called indentations. So indentations are really useful to beautify our code. We can see that this code is very beautifully visible to us. Let's make this class as public so that we can have one public class inside the file and we can name the file as same. It's not necessary, but it's recommended. We should have the class public that contains a main method, and I'll explain it to you later why it is so. If you try to run this class, it will run perfectly fine. It won't give any error, and it will create two bytecodes, one for this class and one for the other class, this one. So let's now try and run this code first. First save this code. So I'm going inside this file and it will be named as student demo.java because the public class name is student demo. And remember, we discussed in one of our previous videos, whenever there is a public class inside a file, the file name should be exactly same as the public class name. So let's save this file. Now let's go to the folder where the file is saved. So this is the file student demo.java. So let's open the console window here so that we can compile and execute the program. For that, let's go to this location bar over here, click here, type cmd, enter. The console window opens. So let's compile the program first. So what's the command for compiling the Java code? Java C space name of the file, student demo.java, correct? Enter. See, the file compiled successfully because there is no error. Now you can see we got two bytecodes, one for class student, one for class student demo. But when we execute this program, we won't get any output because we haven't printed anything in our program. There is no system.out.println statement. So first try and run this program. Remember the command for running Java program? It's Java space name of the file. And in this case, we'll be running student demo because that's the file which contains the main method. So we'll run student demo.java. Okay, you got me right. We don't need to write the Java extension, the .java extension, when we are running the program using the Java interpreter. So the Java program executed successfully, but it doesn't have any output because we didn't give one. So now let's quickly go and put some output. System.out.println. Let's put it works. Save it, Ctrl S. Again, let's compile the program. Press the upper arrow key 2 times so that we can copy the above compilation code that we have already written and we don't need to write it again. Press enter, code will compile. Now let's run. So press the upper arrow key twice again so that we can copy Java student demo command. Now press enter. So see, now it prints it works. So we have already created two classes in a Java program. One is class student that we have kept for creating the objects, and one is class student demo that we have kept for keeping the main method which will start the program. So now let's quickly go and remove this line and create the object. So how can we create the object of the student class? So for creating an object of the student class, this is the syntax, this is the way we create it. We'll first have to write student because we are creating the object of a student class, space name of the object reference. So there will be a reference. A reference means something that will keep track of the object, that is where the object is inside the memory. So we need something to keep hold of the address of the object inside the memory, inside the computer memory. And this reference does the thing. It will keep track of the memory location of the object inside the computer. So let's name it as student1. So this will keep track of the student1 object. Then we use a new keyword. New keyword is used to create a new object in Java. And then we write student followed by parenthesis and a semicolon. So this is the syntax of creating a Java object. So this is the type of the object that we are going to create. This is the name of the reference which is going to hold the memory location of the object. And this new is a keyword in Java which is used to create a new object inside Java. And this student with a pair of parentheses is called the constructor in Java. So this constructor helps to initialize the newly created object in Java. By initialize, I mean creating by default values to the variables. So when a new object gets created in Java, it gets a space inside the computer memory where the value for ID, name and gender is stored. So what will be the value for ID, name and gender when we are creating the object without giving any ID, name or gender? There should be some value, right? So that's the value that computer provides, and that's called the default value. So now let's go and print the object and see what the object contains. So for printing, we'll be writing system.out.println with a pair of parentheses, and inside this we'll be printing the object. Student1 is not an object. An object is there on the memory, and student1 is just holding the address of that memory location where the object has been created. So let's print that reference and see what it returns. Let's save it, Ctrl S, go to the console, clear the console screen. Remember one more thing. Whenever we are making any changes or editing our code, we always need to compile the code. So let's compile it. Java C space student demo.java. Enter. It compiled fine. Now let's run it. Java space student demo. Enter. So you can see what we printed is the reference. This is the address inside the memory, address of a student object. So this is what the reference holds. So now you might be thinking, how can we print the values of the variable that is contained inside this object, right? The ID, name and gender. Let's go and first print the default values and see what the default values are. So let's save it. Here you can see I have written two things, ID in double quotes and student1.id. So ID here, this is a string which will be printed as it is, as hello world was printed on the screen. But student1 is the reference of that object which will be picking out the ID variable of that object. So this dot is used to reference the internal properties of an object. Similarly with name and gender. So let's now save and run the program. Go to command prompt, clear the screen, compile the code and run the code. So you can now see ID contains the value 0, name contains the value null and gender contains the value null. So by default the value of ID is 0, that is provided by the computer since it is an integer. The value of name is null since it is a string, and null is a value which means nothing, and same for gender, it also contains null. Now let's go and put some values that we want to give to the student. So here let's point to the ID of the student as student.id equals, let's put 1. Student.name equals, let's put Jimmy. Since it's a string, name is a string, you can see here, we need to put the value inside double quotes. Same for gender, we need to put the value for gender in double quotes too. Oops, sorry. This should be 1, right? So gender. So the value for gender is male for Jimmy. Now we have different values. For student 1, the ID value is 1, the name is Jimmy and gender is male. So now when we run the program, it should print ID as 1, name as Jimmy and gender as male. So let's save, Ctrl S, go to the console, clear the screen, compile the code. Remember, if you don't compile the code after your changes, it will give the previous out, because the bytecode gets generated only after compiling the code, right? If you haven't watched the video that how bytecode is created, go watch that video. I'll put it in the I button. So compile the code every time so that a new bytecode gets generated, and whenever we run the bytecode, it prints the latest output. So now let's run the bytecode. See, the output is ID 1, name Jimmy, gender male. So this is how we create a class inside a Java program we create object of that class and we store the values inside that class's object. So that was it, Raven. We saw how beautifully we created a class, objects of the class, and printed and verified that the object contains the same value that we provided to the object, right? So an object stores the value as we provide it. It doesn't modify, it doesn't changes anything in the values. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. If you have any doubt, comment in the comment section below. If you have any suggestion or feedback, please write it in the comment section below. I'm really eager to read your comments out. So let's meet in the future videos, and for that you need to hit the red subscribe button and also have to hit the bell icon. With that, this is Ritesh rolling out for the next video. Till then, learn, code and reload.